I'm currently sick. I have a fever and I feel like trash. And today is my cycle review appointment in about 15 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome back, and this I happen to believe will be my last vlog in regards to IVF. As you know, we just completed our second round, and sadly none of our embryos were viable for transfer after the fertilization process, and that really took a toll on me. I had a doctor's appointment scheduled for 3 weeks out, but it has been a week since it has been 2 weeks since we had our egg retrieval, and it has been 3 days since we had our doctor's appointment. We were able to reschedule and see the doctor prior to the 3 weeks, and we went over the cycle. We went over the many scenarios of what could have happened, why did it happen. One of the many reasons the doctor said due to my previous cancer history, of course our embryos are not as good as we thought they were going to be, and therefore that makes them non-viable. And then also she said that, you know, age is also a factor, and even though that I am 36 years old, my body is starting to produce less and less less and less eggs every single month, causing me to have a very low AMH, which is also a big factor, especially when you're dealing with infertility and IVF. So it was a very, very long and very intense conversation, I want to say. Now I also want to make a disclaimer that what I am about to say, it is one of the most vulnerable things that I have ever said here, and this is also putting me as a person in a very very difficult situation. Okay, so while we were in the doctor's appointment, she went over our cycle, she went over our medications, our hormones, she went over everything. She also had ordered some additional testing that I have requested, because I wanted to make sure that everything was okay, since we had an extremely bad first cycle, due to my body ovulating prior to the eggs being able to be retrieved, and us only obtaining one egg at that time. So it was like a big thing at that moment. So therefore I had all of my eggs, or not all of my eggs, I had a bunch of labs done, and we just to make sure that everything was okay. Sadly, things are not okay. While we were doing the consultation for our cycle review, one of the many things that the doctor said was that if I wanted to have a successful IVF round, I should consider donor eggs. And honestly speaking, I don't know how I feel about that, because biologically speaking, the baby wouldn't be mine. like, yes, I will carry the baby and everything, but biologically speaking, the baby wouldn't be mine, and that's not how my heart feels at the very moment. So honestly, that was a very like big shocker for me, because essentially the doctor is basically telling me at this point that I can try as many times as I want. She said I have a 99% chance of every single time that I do an egg retrieval, my embryos will arrest on day 4. She said I have only a 1% of my embryos actually making it past day 4. She said, but that is a very, very small chance. And honestly, I don't want to risk it. Now, doing IVF with donor eggs is also extremely expensive, because not only do you have to cover your portion of the fee that it is doing IVF with donor eggs, but also you have to pay out of pocket, because that is something that is not included, or that is not covered by insurance. So that is something that is completely out of pocket. And through my clinic, the starting price for IVF with donor eggs is $15,000. We have already spent a grand total of almost $17,000 out of pocket for 2 rounds of IVF, and they have both been extremely unsuccessful. So therefore, I don't think that we will go ahead and like do another round of IVF. Also, there's a lot of complications and stuff that I have going on. And honestly speaking, I don't believe we're going to be doing a 3rd round. We don't see ourselves proceeding to do a 3rd round. It has been a couple of weeks now since our embryos arrested, and honestly speaking, it's been 3 days since I had the appointment with the doctor, and honestly, I want to say that it hurts. It does hurt a lot, especially because I made myself so many dreams and so many hopes, and all of a sudden they were extremely shattered in a matter of seconds. Because like I said, whoever does IVF with donor eggs, I give them props. However, I have had previous kids of my own naturally, and I don't feel that I want to proceed having to do IVF with donor eggs, because yeah, the baby will be my husband's biological child, but it wouldn't be mine. And that is something that honestly I don't think that I could do. It is extremely sad, because I have put so much time, so much effort. We're basically going on, we started IVF in 2025, it's currently 2026, and IVF takes out a lot of you, takes a lot of you away. IVF changed my way of looking at life, and IVF changed my perspective in life in so many ways, not only the IVF part or the IVF portion of it. It truly changed me as a person, as a mother. It changed me as a whole. But you know, it was a learning experience. I do have to say that IVF was a learning experience, and it was something very beautiful and very magical that I got to experience, and that I got to learn how the whole process of IVF works, and I got to know a side of me that I didn't know that existed. I got to know a stronger me, a more powerful me. Or my marriage became stronger and became closer and tighter because of everything that we went through. So as somebody who lost, a lot doing IVF, I want to say that sadly, we are putting an end to IVF. We are putting an end to expanding our family, and we are just going to make peace with everything. Honestly, at this very moment, we are still very early. I am still in the process of digesting everything and understanding what happened, why my body didn't produce as many eggs and stuff like that. So while it does take out a lot from you, it also gives you a very big perspective on more than just life, or it makes you appreciate life a different way. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody that saw or that joined us to follow our journey with IVF. I will be taking some time off. It is currently May 7, and I know for a fact that these videos won't be like they won't be coming out like this very moment, this very month. I still have to edit and post them and schedule them, or whatever it is that I have to do. But I like I said, I will be taking some time off. I do want to take some time off to heal. I'm even thinking about taking a sabbatical from work so that I can allow myself to heal properly, not only my body but also my mind, and just take some time to maybe digest what happened, and just to enjoy my kids and my husband a little bit more. So like I said, it is extremely sad that we are closing this IVF chapter for now, or not for now. We're just basically ending IVF as a whole. I am extremely thankful for all the medical staff at the fertility clinic that I assisted. I am extremely thankful for my doctor, and I am extremely thankful for the nurses, like everybody that assisted me while I was going through this process, especially because we were doing this process without any of our family members knowing about it. So therefore it was like our own little secret, and it was very tough to do it that way because we barely had any like actual support because of the fact that we were doing IVF hidden from everybody. But that's in the past now. I will be meeting with my family in about 2.5 months, because we're going on a family vacation, and I will sit them down and I will let them know that we did attempt to do IVF. We actually did 2 rounds, and sadly we ended up with no baby. So therefore we are closing the chapter of growing our family once and for all. So this has been a very hard video for me to record and for me to do, because like I said, I am literally exposing myself, and I am being extremely open about something extremely personal. But I hope that my experience is somewhat of help to somebody else that goes through the same thing. But with that being said, I do not want to keep stretching this video any longer. I am gonna go ahead and wrap it up in here, and I will see you guys around in my other content, which is, you know, family based. So I'll see you around. Bye guys.